Hello viewers, my name is Ronwise Gamgee, and welcome to Quick and Dirty Roleplaying. In this episode, I'd like to talk some more about roleplaying in the setting of Elden Ring. If you haven't watched the previous episode where I started my discussion on this subject, watch that video first. Also, I just want to give out a trigger warning for body horror and cannibalism in this video. Previously, I touched upon dealing with established NPCs and their plot lines. Although I wasn't explicit about it, I was mainly talking about the non-hostile NPCs that you come across throughout the land between. What about the bosses that you come across whenever you cross through the Golden Veil? Those too are NPCs from the perspective of a tabletop RPG. The stationary nature of these NPCs oftentimes doesn't translate well when porting from video game to tabletop RPG, because unless they're sealed away, indefinitely asleep, or have no free will, no creature with agency is just going to wait in a room twiddling their thumbs until the hero arrives for a showdown. Now, unlike the non-hostile NPCs you come across, these NPCs are the setting's antagonists. They have agendas that they want to enact upon the world around them, and see those who do not serve them as a threat or as a resource to consume. Godrick the Grafted, for instance, is obsessed with dismembering other people so that he can either attach their limbs to himself or to create more grafted scions. Dismembered body parts also happen to be a source of sustenance, since there don't appear to be many farms around Limgrave. There are funeral carriages that are hauled by trolls with chained anchors impaled through their bodies, with an entourage of zombie-like people carrying the standard of that land. Aside from the chest at the back of the carriage that the Tarnished can loot, what else could be significant about the funeral carriage that requires such an entourage? Which family could warrant such an extravagant procession, and what part do they play in Limgrave? Last but not least, what has their history been with Godrick the Grafted, the most powerful force on Limgrave? Speaking of Godrick the Grafted, while he appears to the Tarnished just outside of the throne room of Stormveil Castle due to the way the game was programmed, how could this be explained purely in terms of narrative? Perhaps the PCs managed to go through the front gate and, miraculously, survive the onslaught of soldiers and turret-mounted crossbows, but created a massive ruckus in the process. Some of those soldiers do blow on their horns to call for reinforcements. If the PCs take a sneaky approach, however, perhaps they can successfully avoid triggering the Godrick fight, but then where would he be, and what would he be doing when the PCs locate him? He is a demigod after all, and who knows what traits he may possess that are not obvious to others. Perhaps he has enhanced hearing or smell that allows him to notice something out of place, which causes him to investigate. How would he be able to go unnoticed by the PCs? Well, there's the Mimic's Veil, which he can definitely use to blend in with his surroundings. Or perhaps he doesn't make an effort to conceal his presence, and this could create a deadly game of cat and mouse between Godrick and the PCs. Think about it. The guy is massive. How do you expect to fight something like that toe-to-toe, like if he was just some other dude bro, unless you have the power of anime at your side? There are areas in the castle that have turret-mounted crossbows of different varieties, such as the multi-shot crossbows and the crossbows that fire explosive bolts. A Crucible Knight also wanders around the outer perimeter in the back of the castle. What's he doing there, and what's his relation to Godrick? Or, rather than trying to engage him with larger-scale weaponry or forces, perhaps there could be a way to diminish Godrick's grandiosity. What if there is a way to rob him of the power of grafting somehow? Godrick's practice of grafting can be seen as an abomination of the Golden Order, and incantations are a way to assert the logic of the Golden Order on that which is unnatural or blasphemous. Without the power of grafting, how much power is a demigod's distant relation left with? Those are just some of the ideas on how to flesh out a video game boss monster like Godrick the Grafted for an Elden Ring tabletop role-playing game. I'd love to hear your ideas on how you would flesh out other major antagonists in Elden Ring for a tabletop role-playing game. And if role-playing in the setting of Elden Ring is of interest to you, and you want to use an RPG system that will allow you to do so with minimal fuss and with a tremendous amount of immersion, then consider the Quick and Dirty RPG system, currently available on DriveThruRPG. Link is in the description. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If there are other facets you'd like me to explore regarding this subject, please leave a comment and keep it respectful. Take care, folks, and play to find out what happens.